All right, Cyber Traders, welcome on back to wrap up our day, wrap up our week here this Friday, September 22nd, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Great to see Ryan still with us here. You got Brian here, and a few more of us just joining us right now inside our live trading room. Great to have all of us back, perhaps there, and all of us back inside all of us back on our streams: Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. I actually just got back from a midday run. Not as often that I get the chance to do that, so I dipped out a little early, ran around the block. So with that. Actually, I made a grave mistake. I got back at like 2:20-ish. Wanted to make sure I was good to go for all of us here. I forgot to get my water. So we got class on ahead here. Want to make sure that I go quick, not just for your sake, but for my sake too. Get dry mouth. So with that said, with that in mind, the MLGO trade, I joked around with Ryan earlier, but I mean, I'm not really joking as much. Really, if you're shopping around for a Christmas tree this holiday season, MLGO made one right here for you. So stock ended up making this huge squeeze up earlier today, pumped up after the open. Phenomenal move. Actually, just on the long-term chart, Fausto is calling it out right around $10. To a great degree outside of this one candle, it was like quote unquote all-time highs. It's such a funky looking long-term chart that you can't really make much use of this big pop and drop day. So what I was kind of focused on was really off its IPO, which is still a pretty new IPO from 21. There could be some more data even before this, like a few months before, but roughly around $10. It was laying around for a period of time before it made that run up. But yeah, I mean, hey, this morning ended up pumping from 5 up to 6, had a tough time breaking 6 in pre-market. And then once the market did open up, well, hey, had led to the higher high. So phenomenal pump, but topped off right at that resistance psychological level of 10, you could just also say. And with that, it made the Christmas tree. So ended up coming right back down. Bill says, Arnold Schwarzenegger stock. I get that. You can see, get it? I'll be back, right? Yeah, it ended up coming back, Bill, all the way back down to $5 and below. So the thing with this trade is that it was actually shortable. I couldn't believe it when Bill was saying to me at the end of our phase 2 course earlier today, hey, would you short this stock? It's like, any pump and dump stock, you can't really get shares on it. As I turned over to it, I was like, oh my God, wow, it's actually easy to borrow. Not hard to borrow. It doesn't say HB next to the ticker. So technically, I guess if you were really looking for that short, it was there. And, it broke lower, of course. So it's not just the top that you could have hunted. We don't try and hunt the top on a short. So once it broke lower here, led to a really good squeeze back down. So, hey, I was really joking on earlier. I was like, hey, we're going to expect to see this at 0 by the end of the day. Well, you know what? Yeah, it's building a pennant right now. It's made lower highs here, and it is still shortable. So believe it or not, I could definitely put this on our watch list here for the afternoon. I will actually to begin. The order book isn't really that bad. It's not on a crazy big spread right now. I mean, it's pretty thin here and there, but it actually is still pretty tradable. So let's just go right from top to bottom. Otherwise, again, we have our phase 2 course coming up at 3:05 Eastern. I got to get my bottle of water. So LZM, what do we got here? Life Zone metals. Well, pump and dump as well from earlier today. Same to be said on CCG. This was back from earlier in the week. Stock went from 11 up to 180, and I'll be back. Came back down, right? Dumped right back down the following days, that stock, right, Bill? All right, let's just see here, folks. Listen, I'm talking to a smaller crowd here because it is a Friday afternoon. We learned this back in phase 1 from this week in our stock course where, there's not as much traction out there heading into the very beginning of the week, Monday morning. Friday close, unless if there's, major movement across the SPY or the S&P NASDAQ, then, just we'll see what we can get here. But otherwise, the MLGO on there right now. I got to switch this ticker out for the SPY. Speaking of, I was just thrown off by that. So just bear with me for a second. Yeah, market's just dragging down now. I think a lot of eyes are on 430 for the SPY as support. So in the morning meeting, I was saying or in the morning audio with Fausto, I was saying if it wasn't today, maybe it could be early next week that we could see 430 at this stage. Lower highs, the closer we get, we may as well just anticipate for it to hit 430. So it might even be this afternoon, but if not, then perhaps early next week as we wrap up September. Damn. bunch of crap here on the gainers list. Honestly, I mean, I can click on them if you want me to, but TNGX, nice chart. Order book is not the worst, but it's trading really thin volume per minute here. Only about like 3,000 shares a minute. It's not really a whole lot. ALEC won't pass there. Chinese ETFs like FXI and Yin were up big in pre-market. A lot of different Chinese stocks like NEO, Billy, XPEV gapped up, but didn't really do too much afterwards, right? KC, another Chinese stock we've traded in the past. SPRY, wow, I can't believe it. Once again, huh? Holy, this is definitely proving us not wrong, but definitely doing the the less expected move here to see this continue day over day over day. You got to expect this to hit resistance and smack right back down. That's normally what would happen for a stock that gets crushed like this. Yes, it can fill the gap a small amount, and that's what happened. Well, of course, back on Wednesday and yesterday, but man, another move up. It's been really flat across the early part of the afternoon, at least. It looks like a late morning move and then kind of stalled out. I guess you could say early afternoon, then flat since, but in hopes of this possibly even going higher at this point, why not? SPRY will add back to our watch list here. FFIE, familiar name. Just wanted to check in with it. Not really looking that great. Probably not going to find a whole lot on the gainer side, but the ones I did want to go to here, maybe Sands ARDX, just poking at this here fast, but the uranium stocks. I saw this earlier in the morning. Rich and myself were kind of head on together at the call out here on UBC. Yeah, it just fell off, though, at like 10:30, 10:15, 10:30. So I would assume the same to be said for quadruple U and CCJ. Not CCG, CCJ. All right, so we got two stocks on our watch list. I mean, again, you can't really expect much from the gainer side with the way the markets are looking here, so probably some good shorts. Oh, and pardon me. May as well just show it here. The UVXY trade squeezing back up going into this meeting, at least up until now. So I wouldn't mind adding UVXY at this stage or like an SQQQ. This actually looks a little bit stronger on the way upward here this afternoon. UVXY may be a little bit more leveraged if that's the case. But yeah, those are the two ETFs that like just trade the most volume, that go inverse to the markets, basically follow the VIX or go inverse to the market. So there's other ETFs, folks. Don't let it be noise. Just these are the two that we're trading. That's it. There could be another one like SOXS. That also could be good. And actually, with that being the chips sector, I may as well give that a little shine. So this would be the last one if I were to slip one last one on, because, NVIDIA, AMD, Micron, this as well, we've actually been trading. So may as well. Now, no more, Josh. SOXS, SQQQ, UVXY. If you don't have level 4, I would not recommend for you to trade these ETFs. I'd rather you stay on MLGO. I'd rather you stay on SPRY. They're going to be a lot easier to follow level 3, if anything. But if you have level 4, you could use the CVP column, the Delta column, the dots, really make it to your advantage. I was going over that on a call earlier with one of our students. Actually, how about that? I don't have SOXS up, Larry, and Soxel up on our bookmap page earlier. Let's get this up. SOXS here. I know that a lot of us are going to be joining me in class here for the close. So, if you're not trading with me here and joining me in class, look forward to seeing you. But looks like we had an iceberg at 1240, one at 1205 that both of them got pulled, and it looks like just one singular order got placed at 1210. Pretty decent order size, though. Pretty big order there, about 210,000. So I would give really this a lot of respect here up top at 1210. And then if it really rips and breaks higher, then perhaps here at 1240. That looks pretty clear to me. Oh, another one up top even. All right, so let's hop over to the losers list right now. Let's just see if there's any good shorts. Obviously, with those on the way up, we could find some good shorts on the way down. Needless to be said, these top percent gainers one day, like NEPT, SWIN, UpTD, they typically make the losers list the next day. So we're not swing trading those, if anything. I'll go over Mara too, because obviously it kept dropping off. Once it broke under 950, we just figured, okay, well, if Bitcoin hasn't even dropped off that much itself yet, then we're not swing trading it just yet at this point. So we had a couple of shots from the last 2 weeks, but now at this point, that lovely Mara, it's going to keep dropping, folks. It's going to keep dropping. Get ready. Fubo, not really looking great as a short because it's pretty cheap. Too cheap almost there. Hertz on the way down. Ooh, look at that. Hertz back in play. Was Hertz like delisted, then they were relisted again? Then weren't they delisted one more time, then relisted? They've been like all over the place over the last like 5 years, if anything. So yeah, back on the NASDAQ once again, it looks like. I don't know when that happened. Don't really care, honestly, between you and myself. Definitely looks tradable, though, on the way down and at the lows. You know, it's shortable. That is what I care about, namely here. So really good short so far for Hertz. All right, Hertz dropping off. Not as if they're the exact same company, but Carvana. Just may as well check in with. Not really looking that great, special-wise. Or Chuck, I'm sure that you're short on this. You're probably doing pretty well on. He's been killing it this week. But you know, otherwise, folks, hey, if there's a stock that's moving with the market and you do really well on it, then I'm sure that you're going to be more incentivized, you know, literally to, you know, follow that compared to one of the ones that's on our watch list. But otherwise, if you don't have a go-to stock that looks good as a short, don't force it. Start with what's on our watch list here. Alex asking here on Facebook, what is that? What stock is that he's talking about? Had trouble breaking 10 and ended up coming right back down to 5. Oh, that was the MLGO trade. Christmas tree. Right? Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's a short. So, you know, if it makes some like squeeze back up, I'm not like really looking for that. This thing tanked. There could still be more room to fill the proverbial gap from yesterday's close price, even. Just, you know, just if anything, I'm going to look for a lower low on this trade. Sam in our chat board here saying Hertz almost went broke during COVID because nobody was traveling. Yeah, well, there was a bunch of stuff going on. I thought there was some controversy too that happened. They got like delisted. They went OTC for a little while. All right, let's go through some shorts here, folks, because we can get some good shorts at this point. Let's go to Mara. It's too slow as a day trade, honestly. At this point now that it's like below $10, it is a really slow stock to day trade unless if it's in a bull market. So, or unless if there's good hype around Bitcoin at the time, you know what I mean? So I expect this to continue to drop. Just know that it's probably going to pop up here and there next week. I might call it out once or twice, but really, like the cheaper a lot of these stocks drop, they're going to become slower, naturally speaking. So IONQ is a beast like a month ago, even like a couple weeks ago, and it was a great short even as of like this past week. But even this, though, the cheaper this gets over time, like this falls below 10 or 8, it's going to become really slow again. Now, for today as a short, there still could be some room on the way down, especially if the markets fall lower here. So I wouldn't necessarily mind IONQ. If you can get the shares to short it, is hard to borrow on my TradeStation platform. My Affirm short ended up working out really nicely, dropped down well below 2025. It was a trade I got out on in the morning session before class. It was before it spiked back up there, but hey, ended up leading to a decent lower low, and this could still be a nice drop down over 5%. Neo, I mean, same with Neo as Mara, as we just said. You know, the cheaper it gets, the slower it becomes. Neo, I really haven't been a fan of for a little while, and it's really for that reason. So let's see if there's any others that we can try and just nab here really quick. Coinbase wouldn't be a bad one at all to follow, looking at the way it's, you know, dropping off there, nearly down 5%. You could buy puts on that, day trade the close there. Yeah, that actually seems like a pretty decent opportunity. I am pretty bearish on Bitcoin as far as like short term, like very short term, like maybe if like a couple weeks or maybe like next month or so, but very bullish after that. With that said, Coinbase could be a good drop. So I'll add that specifically to our list. All right. Check out Apple. Apple lost its momentum on the way up with the iPhone coming out, ended up breaking back under a big level we were calling out at 176 and change there, and pretty good short at that point. Sam saying WW just popped $1 in the last 15 minutes. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know if news came out, but it fell so far off from that historical level 1210. If it didn't do what it did yesterday, then I'd be a lot more interested actually, because then it would mean like there's a chance it could rip that level and really go higher. Unless if great news came out, which I will check. We'll check news here really fast. There's got to be some news with that type of pop, right? So starting October 1st, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan and Blue Care Network will change the prior authorization approval criteria for commercial PPO and HMO plans for weight loss drugs, Contrave, generic amphetamine sulfate, blah, 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 blah. So really NVO, and the other stock that seems to be affected by this is NVO. That's what Benzinga says. Not really doing, it's dropping off a little bit, but you know what, if Weight Watchers is being affected by that, it seems like it's, fair news that came out, and it's not up or down a tremendous amount, but it's a nice pop here for the afternoon. Good relevant afternoon volume. So good call. I like it at least. And just the only issue again is like, if it didn't do what it did yesterday, this thing would be on fire. I'd be way more interested, but we'll see if this can really make the squeeze up higher towards like 1050. It looked like there was like a little historical, support there from the past week or two. All right, folks, we're going to call it right now. We actually have a really good list. A few stocks on the way up. We got a couple of ETFs there as well. A few stocks on the way down if the market continues to tank. And yeah, altogether, I know a lot of us will be joining me in class, the Phase 2 stock course. Look forward to it. We'll have a more hydrated mouth good to go here. I'll have a nice water bottle good to go as well. I got to make sure I grab that from my other room. So, hey, folks, best of luck trading if you're not joining me. And if you're joining us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. A couple of things before we part ways. First and foremost, my email address, just right there, josh@c2trading.com. Just any questions or emails you want to go over, feel free to shoot me over a quick email. Otherwise, if you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, just continue the audio for today or just all of next week. Scan that QR code on the top left of the stream. Get you access to all of our students, all of our instructors here otherwise. And we look forward to seeing you there. All right. But for Sam, Bill, Ryan, and Brian, and all of us just here on the side of the chat, I saw Andrea. I see you sneak in there a little earlier today. Andrea C joining us as well over there in Santorini, I believe. So, hey, folks, best of luck trading going into the market close. I'll catch up with everyone here, at least in class, though, coming up soon.